They could instantly tell this was going to be another massive space, even bigger than the arena they had just come from. The internal makeup of the dollhouse was still a mystery to them, and seemed to operate around the waiting room, being able to transport you to different locations, like an elevator. This room, however, was directly connected to the arena, and this definitely raised some eyebrows between Popa, Hayden, and Jace, as this was the first instance of that happening. They analyzed the space around them. Similar to a massive empty warehouse, metallic walls and ceiling were spotted with shadow, as there weren't enough lights to make up for the sheer size of the place. They walked forward and eventually spotted a single figure waiting for them further in. A familiar trench coat cascading down a familiar Han Solo cosplay. Smith Jones. Behind him stood Fuzzly. The party kept their distance. They asked Smith Jones where he'd been and what was going on. He responded with a different, colder tone, but nonetheless answered their questions truthfully. Too truthfully. He was telling them everything. Smith Jones, from the moment Jace, Popa, and Hayden arrived, had been watching them, as he did anyone who landed in Suburbia. He gained their trust, and lured them to the dollhouse, his dollhouse, where he would break them down physically and mentally before beginning the final step of the process. Clearly betrayed and a little confused, the party kept him talking while they tried to come up with a plan in the back of their minds. "What's the final step of the process?" they asked. "I take your face, and you become mine," calmly responded Smith Jones. And a fight erupted. Both sides collided with each other at full force, Popa and Hayden diving forward as Jace realized how much stronger they'd become since entering the apparatus before him, but Jace had a few tricks up their sleeve as well. Popa and Hayden turned their heads as suddenly erupting from Jace, a powerful magical energy exploded onto the battlefield as Jace began casting spells, shooting incantations towards Smith Jones and Fuzzly. As chaos erupted, blood began to splatter on the floor as blow after blow was exchanged. In the heat of battle, Smith Jones flung his satchel around to his back and pulled two strings down across his chest, activating two short jet engines springing out to either side of him, revealing a fucking jetpack. The thrusters exploded as the force and wind blew all their hair back, and Smith Jones gained the ability to fly across the battlefield wherever he wanted, and the fight proved more interesting than they had thought. As he launched into the air, multiple facelings began to enter the room to everyone's dismay. It was a close match. In the process of targeting Fuzzly, Hayden was struck down as Fuzzly dug his bare claws into his chest, and Hayden was left unconscious in a bloody pile on the ground. Popa met a similar fate as he swung a grappling hook around Smith Jones to try and pull him down or make him crash. He was pulled into the air and launched back down at the ground, crushing multiple bones in his body and leaving him unconscious. Everything was up to Jace now. Fuzzly and Smith Jones were beaten up bad. There was hope. Jace grabbed a hold of the rope connected to Smith Jones and lunged towards Fuzzly, and with a flash, Fuzzly's head separated itself from his body and he collapsed. Jace shot their gaze up towards Smith Jones, their face filled with rage and spattered with blood, and gave him the same treatment given to Popa earlier. A strength check and a massive pull from Jace led to Smith Jones being launched towards the ground, instantly killing him on impact with an explosion from the jetpack. They did it. They won. Jace took Fuzzly's head as a trophy, and hung Smith Jones from the ceiling with the same grappling hook rope from before. They grabbed onto Popa's leg and magically carried Hayden to a door at the far end of the room, leading to an exitway from the dollhouse. Upon walking outside, Jace found Geoffrey hanging among the rest of the bodies on the exterior with a device connected to his face. Jace, still getting used to their new magical abilities, cut Geoffrey down and added him to the pile of his unconscious friends, and watched as a portal swirled into existence directly behind the dollhouse. With a sigh of relief and victory, Jace carried their friends to safety, and walked through the portal. And that's where we'll pick up next time on Dungeons & Dragons, The Chronicle of 406.